Hello and welcome back to Reading Past Midnight. I'm your host, Ron Rutstein. It's 2025 and time to look back a little, I guess, at 2024. So I'm going to show you today my favorite book from the books that I read in 2024. Something that I highly recommend. I have kind of dropped a hint here and there in some of the recent videos. My favorite book from 2024, Cutting for Stone, Abraham Verghese. Now, this was not published in 2024. It's been around for a while, but I had not read it. So I read it in this past year. This is a brilliant, beautiful novel. I was totally surprised when I saw the list of 100 best books written in the 21st century, and this was not on it. I don't know if that was an oversight, because it did show up on the list that the readers put together, but this one deserves to be on it. It also deserves to be near the top of the list, in my opinion. I think it's a better book than My Brilliant Friend, which was on top, and I reviewed that a little bit in one of my past videos, one of the last few videos I did. This is a much more deeply plotted novel. If you just compare the first volume to this, I have not read the 3 volumes following yet that complete the story. However, this is a dramatic novel. This is a cross-cultural novel. This is a novel of family. It makes you think about the definition of family and who is in your family and who makes up your family. And it's a very powerful and moving novel, running the gamut from great highs and the joys of the character to the ultimate depths and sadness that we all experience in our lives, some to a greater degree than others. It's a story about twin boys, Marion and Shiva Stone. They are the sons of a British surgeon. They were born to a mother who was a nun. So this would be a kind of forbidden relationship that had taken place, and kind of a surprise to everyone when she turns up pregnant and ready to give birth. The birth is physically destructive to the mother. The boy's father, Dr. Stone, tries to force the birth of the babies in order to save the mother, which was not possible. There's no question of that in the novel. Sorry, a little spoiler there for the beginning, but this happens fairly early in the novel. And in the process, damages one of the sons, the head, trying to pull it out, before he's pushed aside and the other people in the hospital take over the birth, knowing that they can't save the mother, doing everything they can to save the children, 2 boys. The twins have a very unique relationship, not just because they're twins, but because one is, we could say, undamaged and one is damaged. And the head injury, of course, affects the personality of an infant. And the 2 boys have a closeness growing up despite their differences, and support each other in ways to each working with their own strengths. And those strengths are different. And together they form a unit for the early part of their life. The father runs away, just unable to face his grief, leaving the boys behind for the staff at the hospital to take care of and raise. And it is a despicable act. It is an act that shapes their whole reality and their whole lives. As everyone's always wondering, is he going to come back? Did he die? Is he still living somewhere? What's going on? What's going to happen? So the boys have this, it's kind of a shadow over them. This wondering, who was my father? And is he going to come back into our lives? And that pushes forward in the plot and propels the story along. Even when you're completely taken away by the events and things that are happening, there's always that in the back of the story and in the back of the characters' minds. The novel takes place in a hospital in Ethiopia. And the political turmoil of the post-World War II era, the rise to power of Haile Selassie, and fall from power, rise to power, the political upheavals that took place are part of the background and the ever-present in the novel. There are constant references to political happenings and how that's going to affect the day-to-day lives of the hospital and the children. They fall in love, they fall out of love. One, of course, becomes a doctor. You can kind of guess that from the beginning of the novel. One doesn't, but is still in the medical field and is working to develop treatments for girls who are subjected to female circumcision in Ethiopia. The difficulties that causes, certain conditions that it causes, and how to help and treat those women and girls. Cutting for Stone, the title, can take on many metaphorical meanings. You can think of the C-section that's performed to save the stone children. You can think of cutting as, moving towards something, pushing away, opening up, trying to reach something. Cutting for Stone, the boys' desire, at least through their early life, to reach for their father who isn't there, and they have no idea where he is. Towards the end of the novel, one of the brothers goes to America, and you have a whole nother piece that's brought into the story at that point as an immigrant who is a medical doctor in Ethiopia but cannot be one in the United States. Has to go through his internship and everything all over again. And that is what happens to doctors who come from other countries. I've had the pleasure of knowing some who were medical doctors in their home. They come here, they have to go through their apprenticeship all over again. It kind of cuts off a valuable resource. This is the type of immigrant that I think most places would want, a medical professional, although in this case, a medical professional of color. Their mother, Sister Mary Praise, was of Indian descent and came as a nun to work in the hospital where she fell in love. And you have a group of expatriate, for lack of a better word, Indians who work in this community and at this hospital. And that community has its own flavor and contrasts with the other communities that are part of Ethiopia. And that dynamic plays out in subtle ways, but always interesting ways and mostly positive ways. So it's interesting to see the way Verghese handles that interaction in the novel. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get too deep into it for you because I don't want to spoil anything. You will run across snippets in this book that just kind of make you stop and savor what you just read. I found myself doing this a number of times, going back and just rereading a few pages or a few passages, because you're really drawn in by the style and the quality of his writing. The story itself is very moving and pulls you along, so it's a faster read than you would expect from a novel, 660 pages, so it falls just short of our 700-page threshold for the very long book project. However, I am considering this for our greatest books or greatest novel quest. I would consider this one of the best novels that I've ever read. I hope that you will read it and enjoy it, and learn from it. Cutting for Stone by Abraham Verghese. Once again, if you've made it this far, please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. The channel is growing. We've grown a lot in the past couple months since I've been putting up more material more regularly, having had some time to do some of this work. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please hit the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you would like to maybe see explored here. Yeah, you know the routine. Like, subscribe, little bell. Thank you very much, and welcome to 2025.